is the president of the ANC.
Well, let's get more perspectives on this story from the chairperson of the Thabo Mbeki African Leadership Institute Alumni Forum, Lebohang Chaka. She joins us on telephone from Johannesburg. Welcome to the program, Lebohang.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it appears the ANC is in support of President Jacob Zuma after all, but how are the people reacting to this?
I think what we need to understand is that the ANC has a long history in South Africa, and every election we've seen, especially in the past election, we've seen a decline in terms of ANC voter numbers. But equally so, we've seen people that are very loyal to this party and really standing up for the ANC. I mean, last year there was a call where some of the young members said that they're going to go to the ANC headquarters and, demand to talk to the Secretary General at the time. But equally with that amount of force, there was another generation of ANC supporters that stood in front of the house of Luthuli House and said, we will defend Luthuli House, we will defend Jacob Zuma. So it is one of those where you can't really say there's an equal level of support, and there's also an equal level of a call to say we need to do something different as a party. But the ANC does remain one of the strong parties in South Africa.
Well, has this in any way impacted on the people's perspectives of the ANC?
Excuse me, I didn't hear that. Sorry about that.
No, I was asking that the ANC's decision to back Jacob Zuma, has it in any way affected the perspectives of the people towards the ANC?
Sacking the finance minister. I can't hear you.
Lebohang, I was saying that since the ANC has decided to back President Jacob Zuma, has this in any way affected the way the people see the party?
As I mentioned before, people have always had a voice within the ANC itself. People have voiced opinions against the ANC, even members of the ANC. And the fact that the ANC is still in support of the president will continue, though it will follow the same pattern that we've been seeing now, where there's a strong voice within the ANC and outside of the ANC, where people say that they support the party, and equally there are people that say we support the ANC but not the current path that it's on. So the perception is on the ground of the ANC is that there are people that mainly support it, and equally there are voices that are condemning some of the practices that they see in the ANC.
The sack of the finance minister and reshuffle has caused some divisions in the political space. What impact is this having on the society?
Sacking of the finance minister is one of those where it has really showed what a democratic country we live in that our political sphere has always been made up of multiple parties. We saw a breakaway of the EFF, which is really started by young ANC members. And the sacking of the finance minister has just highlighted the differences that the way the parties see themselves and how they've branded themselves as the different parties in South Africa. Once again, it showed that South Africa is a free country because one of the main opposition parties, the DA, has actually planned a march on Friday to march to the ANC headquarters as a sign to say we are against the sacking of the finance minister. This is having implications on our economy, and therefore we will speak against this. So the sacking of the finance minister has really brought out the voice of the different parties as to their dissatisfaction in the way the government has been, the ANC-led government is running the country, and also it also showed that people are free enough to even approach the ANC directly to say this is not right.
What about the trade unions who have also made their demands for the president's resignation? Does this truly reflect the wish of South Africans?
So we have various trade unions in South Africa. We have noted that the biggest trade union in South Africa has publicly gone out and called for a vote of no confidence against our president. I think to say that the trade unions represent the views of South Africa, of South Africans, I don't think that would be right, because the trade union's mandate is for their members, and their members join these trade unions with the hope that the trade union will represent their voice. So the trade unions, I would not necessarily say it's the voice of South Africans, because it is the voice of their members.
Lebohang Chaka with the Thabo Mbeki African Leadership Institute Alumni Forum. Thank you for joining us today on Network Africa. We're moving on now from South Africa to Gambia, where citizens head to the polls again on April the 6th, but this time for the legislative elections. Opposition parties, which united last year to deliver the first new president in 22 years and end Yahya Jammeh's rule, are now running against each other. Under the government of President Adama Barrow, voters and candidates alike say they feel a sense of newfound democracy.
On the streets of the capital, Banjul, people say they're excited to express themselves freely as candidates from 9 political parties, including Jammeh's Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction, APRC, campaigning what voters say is a different Gambia.
I am very happy that the elections are different than before, because this elections coming, the election that has passed for the presidential election was very fair, and I know this parliamentary elections coming will be very fair too.
Officials of the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, says they have invited a full European Union observer mission to monitor the process. Gambia has a unique method of voting. Voters are given 1 marble each, which they drop into a drum corresponding to the candidate of their choice. The marble strikes a bell inside the drum, preventing multiple voting. Alifa Saleh is the candidate for the People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism Party, and as the Secretary General of the party, Saleh has toured the country to support other candidates from his party. Now, he is trying to convince the people in the city of Serakunda to vote for him in what he calls a house-to-house campaign, going to people's homes and talking to them instead of holding big rallies.
This is the most important National Assembly elections or parliamentary elections that this country has ever held, because it is taking place at a time when the country has experienced the forced transformation of a regime through the ballot box.
Coming up after the break, a Paris art show puts its spotlight on African talents. Do join us again.